So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be completing a CMS 1500 form for a patient who has Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. So when we look at our insurance claim form, we can see that it has been divided into 3 different sections. And those sections are denoted here by this red line right here. This top one will divide it between the first section and the second section. And this line right down here goes ahead and will divide our form between section 2 and section 3. Section 1 is where the carrier information goes. This is where the name of the insurance company as well as the address to where this claim form will be sent is entered onto the form. The next one is where the patient and insured information goes, and this is where we put in all of the information that the insurance company would need in order to identify whose policy should be looked at. Now the third section, I'll scroll down here. This third section is where the physician or the supplier information goes. These are item numbers 14 through 33, and this is where we put information in about our physician, the diagnosis of the patient, what services were provided for the patient, charges, and other information. Right now we're going to be concentrating on boxes 1 through 13. So let's begin up here with the carrier. When I fill these forms out, I always like to start at the top, and I very methodically go through item numbers 1 through 13, then 14 through 33. I have found that if I don't do that, that I tend to miss something or forget to put a crucial item in on the claim. And if I don't have everything the way it's supposed to be on the form, the insurance company will deny this claim. When I fill out a CMS 1500 form, we need to remember that we need to use all capital letters. We don't use a whole lot of punctuation on these forms, so it's very limited. When we put in the information for our insurance carriers, we're going to put this in all capital letters, and we use no punctuation in the address with the exception of the 9-digit zip code if we have it. Our zip +4, we put that hyphen in before we put the additional 4 digits in, and that's the only thing that we will use. So I'm going to be filing this to Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and their address is 1133 Southwest Topeka Boulevard, and we can abbreviate, and that would be in Topeka, Kansas, and the zip is 66629. Notice I did not put in any punctuation at all in this address. Item number 1A is where we indicate the type of insurance, and we need to indicate whether or not it's Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, CHAMVA, group health insurance, FEC black lung insurance, or if it's another type of insurance. The only time I would put other is if the type of insurance I have does not fall into one of these other 6 categories. I always know that if I have a group number listed on my encounter form, then the patient has a group health plan. This particular patient does have a group health plan. Notice that I've put an X in this box, not a check mark, and that the X fills the box completely. Item number 1A is where I put in the insured's ID number. Notice that I put no hyphens, no spaces, that I put it in as one continuous number. Item number 2 is where I put in the patient's name. Now, if the patient and the insured are the same, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the patient's name in box 4. The only time I need to put anything in item 2 is if the patient and the insured are different. In this particular case that I'll be filling this out, we have a husband and a wife, and the wife is a dependent on the husband's insurance plan. So I'll be putting her name in here. When we put in names, the patient's name or the insured's name, we always put in the last name first. We place a comma, and then we put in the first name. Item number 3 is the patient's date of birth. If the patient and the insured are the same, I'm going to leave item number 3 blank because I'll be entering that information into item number 11A. Notice that I'm putting in a 2-digit month, a 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. And to indicate whether she's male or female. Box 4 is where I put in the insured's name. Item number 5, this is where we put in the insured's address. I only fill out item number 5 if the address for the insured and the patient are different. Now, this may be in a case where the parents are divorced and the primary or place of residence is different than where the insured lives. But otherwise, I'm going to leave this blank. Item number 6 is where we identify the relationship between the patient and the insured. This is a spouse, so I'm going to do that. And then the insured's address goes here. We indicate the city, indicate the state, and we put in the zip code. We no longer fill out the telephone number here. We leave that blank. Item number 8, we don't have to put anything in there, so that's left blank. Item number 9, 9A and 9D is where we put information if the patient has a secondary policy. If the patient does not have a secondary plan, they only have their primary health plan, then we go ahead and we leave item number 9 blank. Item number 10 is always to be filled out, regardless of the type of insurance that the patient has. Item number 10 is where we can indicate whether or not there is another plan that needs to be filed before the primary health care plan pays. So if you look at the questions here, we have, is the patient's condition related to employment? If this is a workman's comp claim, then we would want to go ahead and put yes here. If the condition is not due to work, then we're going to put no. Is the patient's condition related to an auto accident? Yes or no. If I indicate that this is yes, then I need to indicate the state in which the accident occurred. The insurance company is trying to determine whether or not there is a auto liability type of insurance that should be paying for this claim first. Other accident, yes or no. They're trying to determine if there is maybe a homeowner's policy or some other liability insurance that needs to be filed first. I will tell you that if there is another policy that is supposed to be paying for a claim other than the primary health insurance, the primary health insurance will not pay for a claim until all of the benefits from any of these plans are exhausted. Then they'll go ahead and start paying on a claim. Item number 11 is where the insurance policy group or FEC number goes. If I am putting in a number into the insurance policy or group number as a double check, I want to make sure that I have the group health plan box checked up here. Now I can go ahead and put the insured's date of birth here. It's a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. Indicate the sex of the patient, or I'm sorry, of the insured. Item number 11B is left blank. This is where we put the insurance plan name. And this identifies the type of policy that a patient has. 11D asks a question. Is there any other health benefit plan? Yes or no? If I indicate yes, notice that it tells me I need to go back and I need to complete items 9, 9A, and 9D. This is a double check for us so that we can make sure that we get the form filled out completely. Item number 12 is where the patient signs to release any type of medical records from the physician's office to the insurance company should the insurance company need to see medical records in order to process or adjudicate the claim. Now, patients don't sign these forms anymore. Instead, what they do is they sign a authorization with the physician's office, and then that authorization is placed on file. Since the patient signature is on file authorizing the physician to do that, we simply put an SOF in this particular box here, which stands for signature on file. I do not have to indicate any date here, so I get to leave the date blank. Item number 13 is the assignment of benefits. What this does is this allows the insurance company to pay the physician's office directly instead of paying the patient for any payments that's made for the services that are rendered. This will be the same as box 12. There will be a signature on file that the patient has given authorization or given the insurance company permission to go ahead and to pay the physician's office directly. So we simply need to put SOF in this box as well.